How many of you remember Pythagorean theorem? I've heard of it. Okay, good, good. Okay, so Pythagorean theorem is a theorem that works for right angle triangles. Okay, and it's knowing when you know it's a right angle triangle and you know two of the sides, the size of two of the sides, you can find the third side. Okay, and Pythagorean came up with with this theorem, and it says that in a right triangle, the sum of the squares of two sides and these are the two sides that form the right angle, equals the square of the hypotenuse. Too many words in a hypotenuse. Yes. So here's what these words, all of them mean. So this is your right angle triangle. Right angle triangle is a triangle that has a 90 degree. Okay? So that means they're perpendicular. Here's another word thrown at you. Perpendicular to each other. Okay? So they form a 90 degree angle. Okay? So these are the two sides that form the 90 degree. Okay? The third side is called the hypotenuse. Okay? So it's the side that is across from the 90 degree. Okay? It's always, in a right angle triangle, the hypotenuse is always your largest side. Okay? So this is always your largest side out of the three sides. So Pythagorean came up with this theorem that if you form a square right here using this side, so the area of this square plus the area of this square, if you add both of these areas together, is going to equal to the area of this square. I don't know why this is not working right now. Okay? So if I look at this right here, the area of this square plus the area of this square is equivalent to the area of the square formed by the hypotenuse. Okay? So we came up with this formula. Okay? A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Now C stands for the length of the hypotenuse at all times. Okay? The letter C stands for the hypotenuse. Okay? So basically, if I know A and B, I can find C. Okay? Now, if I know C and B, for example, I can find A, but I have to move things around. Right? So if I know C and B and I'm looking for A, I can do this. A squared equal C squared. Bring this over. What does it become? Minus B squared, right? Because it's a plus, the opposite of positive is negative. Right? So when I bring that positive B squared over, it becomes a minus B squared. Right? Similarly, if I know A and C and I'm looking for B, it's going to be B squared equals C squared minus A squared. Okay? So I can use this Pythagorean theorem when I know two sides of a right angle triangle and I'm looking for the third one. Okay? Number one, it has to be a right angle triangle. It can't be used for any other type of triangles. Number 2, I need to know 2 sides. I'm looking for the third. Now, another thing that you need to know about triangles, what's the sum of the interior angle of the triangle? Which means the sum of the interior angles in a triangle. When you add all the angles inside the triangle, what are they going to add up to? 180 degrees. Okay? That's another thing that you need to know. Now, in this case, 180 degrees, no matter what kind of triangle it is, it's always going to add up to 180 degrees. Okay? So the sum of the interior angles triangle equal to 180 degrees. All right. So if I look at it, the example, I have a triangle. It's a right angle triangle. The reason I know it's a right angle triangle because it's indicated right here that it's a right angle. That's why they give us the square shape, right? It's a right angle. I know 2 sides, and I'm looking for the unknown values. So I'm looking for x, which is my third side, and also it's asking me to find this angle. Okay? So first, let's solve for the side, for the third side.
8 centimeters.
How did you find that?
Because I divide 3 centimeters plus 5 centimeters, it's equal both of them, it's 8 centimeters.
But what's my formula?
A squared.
Yeah. Our formula.
Yes.
Is it C
Yeah. Squared.
square?
Mhm.
C square equal
Mhm.
A square
Mhm.
plus B square.
B squared, right?
Yes.
So remember, this is my A, this is my B, this is my C. Okay? Now let's plug in our numbers. Okay? I'm looking for C, I'm looking for the hypotenuse. So C squared equal A is 5, but I have 5 squared. Yes?
Yeah.
Because A is 5. Putting A in, it's 5 squared plus, what's B?
3.
3. So that's 3 squared. So if I do this, 5 squared is 25 plus 3 squared is 9.
9.
So what's 25 plus 9? 34. So C squared is 34. What am I looking for? I'm looking for C. Yes, I'm looking for C. Do I know what C is yet? What do I need to do to find C?
No, it's reverse of square.
What's the reverse of square?
I don't know the name of.
You said it. Square root. Right? Square root. So remember that this is C squared, and I'm looking for C. To find C, the opposite of square is square root. On the calculator, you will see that square root. So what you need to do on the calculator, you need to find where the square root button is, and then you're going to have to do the square root of 34, and your answer is going to be 5.8. It's 5.830945, whatever, but we just do to 1 decimal place. Okay? And it's centimeter, yep. Okay, so this is where we have, be careful, it's a square. You have to square. Mm-hmm. Now, I found my side C. Okay. Now the other question is they want you to find the angle, which is this angle here. This letter here, it's called theta. It's a Greek letter. Usually they use Greek letter to indicate angles. Theta is one of the known Greek letters that we use. You can call it whatever you like. You can call it X, Y, and Z. It doesn't matter what you call it, right? It just, if you've seen that, that means it's a letter. It's called theta. It's a Greek letter. They usually like to use theta. They like to use alpha and beta. These are the ones that they usually use. Okay? But theta is the one that you see the most. Okay? Welcome to the math world. If I want to find the third angle,
You just have to add them because the east side angles of a triangle, it is 180. So if you add them, you will find that it's 180. So the only thing you have to do there is to
so add these two.
subtract these two to 180.
That's right. So if I'm going to add all three angles, that's going to give me 180, right? I know two of the angles, and I'm looking for the third one, okay? So if I want to find the third one, I add these two. What is this one? 90. 90 plus 31 gives me 121, right? So then I have to do 180 to find my angle theta. I do 180 minus, right? And then basically what I did is I added the 90 plus the 31, right? You see that I made sure that I do the 90 plus the 31 first. That's why I put them in bracket. I'm forcing to do the addition first, okay? So that's 180 minus 121, which gives you
59.
59. Okay? Again, we will use these again later on in the semester. We do trigonometry at the end of the semester. So these are things that you need to remember for the end of the semester. Now, for the second example, I am given what? What am I given?
Given hypotenuse.
C square and A
So,
square.
I'm given the hypotenuse, which is,
T.
yeah. I don't know what A is.
Yes.
I am given B. Okay? So, if I want to use one of these three formulas, I'm looking for A, so I have to use the second one. Okay? So what I have to do is I have to enter the numbers in. So C is 7, so that's going to be 7 squared minus 6 squared. So that's 49 minus 36. So that's going to be 13. Is that the value of A? No. What do I have to do? Square root. So square root of 13 on the calculator is? It's 3.6. Okay. Does it make sense? Yes, it should make sense because it's a smaller side, right? Make sure that your answer is never like your other two sides. They're never bigger or greater than your hypotenuse. Okay? Hypotenuse is your largest side. Do not make that mistake. Okay? Now, another thing that I need to solve for is my angle. right? It's the same process, so I do 180 minus the sum of the other two angles. Okay, so your answer for this is 31 degrees. Okay, you guys okay with this? All right.